Today I want to explain the core psychological dyad that drives many narcissistic patterns: inferiority, superiority. If you ever swing between feeling better than and never enough, or you're drawn to people who live in that pattern, this will explain the emotional engine underneath. So what is a dyad in transference-focused psychotherapy? In this therapy, the building blocks of personality are dyads, paired internal images of the self, the other, and the emotion linking them. These dyads form early through many repeated interactions with caregivers, and they become internal templates, unconscious emotional worlds we bring into every relationship. The inferiority-superiority dyad has two poles that belong to one relational unit: inferior self, superior other, superior self, inferior other. So the important thing is that these aren't two separate states. They are one relational pair. One pole defines the other. This dyad becomes the lens through which the person experiences themselves and other people. How this dyad forms in childhood. So first of all, there's hierarchical caregiving. When caregivers are emotionally dominant, critical, idealized, the child internalizes, "You're big, powerful, I'm small, inadequate, dependent." That becomes the inferior self, superior other template. Then, conditional love and achievement-based approval. When love depends on performance or beauty or achievement, the child learns, "To be valued, I must be superior. When I fail, I am inferior." Both poles grow from the same environment. An emotional hierarchy becomes normal. The child learns that in any relationship, someone must be above and someone must be below. That is the birth moment of the inferiority-superiority dyad. How the dyad shows up in adult life. A client comes to me and, in the first session, tells me, "I admire you so much. You are an amazing therapist, almost 30 years of experience. Oh my God, your degrees, your tenure, and you accomplished it all as a Russian immigrant. I really, really want to work with you." So this is superior other, inferior self pole of the dyad. But 4 or 5 sessions later, the same client tells me, "Actually, you're not such a great therapist. Talking to you feels like dumping my trash. I don't think you're what I thought you were." So now they flip into superiority self, inferiority other. Same dyad, just different pole. So why this happens? This person isn't reacting to me as a therapist. They're reacting to an internal relational template that gets activated in stress or when they become intimate. The dyad is the only way their emotional world knows how to organize closeness. Why it feels so real to them? It's their emotional memory. A whole relational world gets activated and they react as if they're back in that childhood hierarchy. I've worked on my own narcissistic features for a long time, and there was a moment in therapy, a breakthrough, when I realized there are people who do not operate from this dyad. People who don't need to be above or below someone to feel safe. And it was shocking. I think I was 30. Almost unbelievable. And for many clients, discovering this is life-changing. It's important to understand that America reinforces this dyad. It's not just psychological, it's cultural. American culture with the American dream, be the best, rise above the rest, prove yourself, this constant comparison. It's extremely narcissistic. And it reinforces the idea that some are winners, others are losers, some are superior, others are inferior. And the shadow of this cultural ideal is suppressed envy. Envy is the hidden emotion behind this dyad. In people with narcissistic features, envy becomes sort of chronic. Like, "I want what you have. I'm angry you have it. If you're better, that means I'm worse." So this envy creates stress, aggression, relational instability. And this is one of the main reasons, actually, I research envy, because I believe that envy should become a friend, not an enemy. How we change this dyad. Changing the inferiority-superiority dyad doesn't happen by positive thinking. It changes through integration, awareness, and new relational experiences. First of all, you need to recognize when this diet activates. The very first step is learning to catch the moment when you're slipping into the diet. Like you suddenly feel smaller, you feel suddenly better, smarter, more special, or you feel like you are either the star or the failure, nothing in between, or someone just met you and you put them on a pedestal or you put them in the trash right away. So this moment is gold because you don't judge it, you simply say, this is my diet speaking. Naming it separates it from you and from it. For many people, it might be the first time in their life when they have ever stood outside this pattern. Then number two, you need to identify the emotional link. You need to pay close attention to the affect, the feeling that glues the self-image and the other image together. In this diet, the affect is often shame because you're exposed, envy, they have what you wish you had, fear that they will overpower you, anger that you need to restore yourself, contempt, need to push them down to fill up, admiration, like I need to put you up to feel safe. So when you notice the emotion that binds the diet, you gain access to the real need underneath. You need to hold both images at once to integrate. This is the heart of this transformation work. You practice holding two truths at the same time. I can have strengths and also limitations. I can have power and also faults. I can feel vulnerable without being inferior. I can feel confident without making you nothing. This capacity, holding ambivalence, dissolves, removes the need for hierarchy. Then introduce the third position. Third, observing position. It sounds like this. A part of me feels superior and another part of me feels inferior. But there is also this third part of me, the observing self, which can understand both without becoming either of them. That third position is what eventually becomes your stable identity. Practice mutuality. The opposite of the inferiority-superiority dyad is mutuality, which means that both people matter, both have feelings, both have value, and both people are allowed to exist fully. This is very uncomfortable for people with narcissistic features because mutuality feels like vulnerability, which was used, and it was used to be dangerous. In relationships, the dyad shows up during conflict. When you feel criticized, you drop into inferiority, and when you feel threatened, you jump into superiority. The healing moment is when you repair, when you notice that you felt envy and didn't know what to do with it. You felt like you needed to dominate to feel safe. So repair creates a micro-integration that slowly weakens the dyad script. Work directly with envy, which is central to this dyad. You simply cannot heal this dyad without healing envy. It's the emotional fuel that keeps the dyad alive. Like when you think if you're better, I'm nothing, or if I'm better, you're irrelevant. So envy teaches you to compare. The healing stance is your strengths do not erase mine, and my strengths do not erase yours. The moment envy becomes a signal, not a threat, this dyad starts losing its power. This is why I study envy, because when it's understood, it becomes a guide instead of some sort of a poison. You need to build stable identity. As the dyad softens, something beautiful happens. Your identity stabilizes. You no longer need to be the best in the room or the worst in the room. You stop competing, comparing that much. You stop creating fantasies of superiority. You stop feeling that much shame. And you become a person who can say, I am who I am, I have strengths, I have limits, and I am enough. So this is where real freedom begins. Tell me, do you sometimes feel better than other people? Or do you sometimes feel that you are the worst? Do you have this swing from I am the best to I am the worst? How do you cope with it?